Edwin writes Tinubu to call Wike to order over Rivers crisis. PDP moves to replace 27 pro-Wike assembly defectors, and finance minister promises to always account for oil revenue. On the foreign scene, Supreme Court asks to decide if Trump has immunity from prosecution. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The World News at 12 begins with the organized labor and the federal government being on a collision course over the government's failure to sustain the payment of 35,000 naira wage award to workers. Workers in the Federal Civil Service in separate interviews noted that the federal government only paid 35,000 naira wage award for the month of September. Following the removal of the fuel subsidy by President Bola Tinubu on his assumption of office, the federal government agreed to pay 35,000 naira to each of its workers to reduce the hardship caused by the subsidy removal. The government, in a memo signed by the chairman of the National Salaries, Wages and Income Commission, Ekpo, stated that the payment of the wage award will begin to take effect from September 1, 2023. However, in one of the core ministries, departments and agencies said the wage award was only paid once, and since then they have not received another. He also noted that there has been no official communication from the government as regards the matter. Another civil servant who spoke on the condition of anonymity said the workers have not received anything else other than the initial wage award, which was paid. He lamented that the government cannot continue to let the citizens suffer, as salaries are not enough to take home at this point. Also speaking, a civil servant in one of the federal government-owned schools in Abuja noted that the workers were only paid the wage award for 1 month. He explained that though the peculiar allowance introduced by the former administration is still being paid alongside salaries, they have not received any such thing as a wage award. He also lamented that the government needs to stop playing games with workers' emotions. Speaking, the head of information at the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC, Benson Upa, in an interview said this betrays the government's dishonorable intentions and is completely unacceptable. When asked if the NLC would take action, he noted that the Congress will certainly do something about it, but what it will do will be dependent on the appropriate organs of the Congress. On communications with the government, he said the NLC sure will, as it usually precedes all its actions. But the spokesperson for the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Bawa Mokwa, allayed fears of civil servants, noting that plans were ongoing to ensure that civil servants receive their wage awards. He explained that the process is ongoing and all workers will be paid, as the process to pay the wage awards has commenced. Meanwhile, the federal government has budgeted 1 trillion naira for minimum wage adjustment, promotion arrears and severance benefits for civil servants, according to an analysis of the 2024 appropriation budget released by the Budget Office of the Federation. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has been asked to provide clarification as to why a member of his cabinet and former governor of Rivers State, Ijeoma Wike, is interested in retaining party structure despite publicly proclaiming that he would not run against the president in the 2027 presidential election. Leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, Chief Edwin made the demand on Monday in an open letter to the president, where he wondered why Wike, who he said had previously attacked the concept of godfatherism when Rotimi Amechi was the Minister of Transportation, would seek to indulge in the same act. Clark wondered if all former state governors behave like Wike by insisting on controlling their successors in office, as in the case of his relationship with Governor Sim Fubara, the country would be in trouble. He therefore urged the president to call the minister of the FCT to order. The foremost South-South leader observed that despite the president's previous intervention in the Rivers crisis, the FCT minister had continued utterances which suggest that trouble lies ahead. He said the crisis has been compounded by the defection of 27 members of the State House of Assembly from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the APC. He urged the president to tell Wike to focus on his office and know that he is just one among a cabinet of 48 persons, saying the country has enough problems which the government must sit down to solve. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) on Monday said it will write to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) today to demand fresh elections to replace its 27 members in the Rivers State House of Assembly who defected to the All Progressives Congress (APC). A total of 27 members of the House elected on the PDP platform on Monday defected to the APC and threatened to reject the request of the state governor Sim Fubara for approval. The reason adduced for their defection, according to the letters written to the Speaker Martin Amewule and read on the floor of the House, was predicated on the division in the party as regards the tussle for the position of the National Secretary of the PDP, which had made communication channels difficult. Prior to the 2023 governorship election in the state, Nyesom Wike, the then governor of the state, had reportedly bought funds for dozens of PDP stalwarts, including Fubara, as governorship aspirant. But Wike reportedly picked Fubara, who was then Accountant General of the state, a situation which created ripples amongst party leaders who said Fubara was not a politician and was not part of the struggle. But Fubara and his predecessor fell apart a few months ago when lawmakers loyal to Wike moved to impeach the incumbent governor. Amidst the crisis, a section of the State House of Assembly was gutted by fire. Reacting to the defection of the lawmakers, the PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba revealed that the party would explore all options to reclaim its seat in the State House of Assembly. Ologunagba, who described the PDP as law-abiding party, said the party will write to INEC to make its position known. When asked what the party would do if INEC failed to grant its request, the PDP Publicity Secretary replied that the party will explore all options available. Earlier in a statement, Ologunagba declared that by defecting from the PDP, the seats of the respective 27 lawmakers had become vacant by virtue of the provision of Section 109 subsection 1G of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Well, now joining me to discuss this and the other issues on the world news at 12 this afternoon, I have Dr. Moses Adebayo, a political and social and national affairs analyst and commentator. Good afternoon, Doctor.
Hello, Chema, how are you?
I'm very well.
Everyone listening right now.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Same here. Thank you.
Let's talk about Labour. The National Labour Congress, the NLC, is fuming. They are very angry right now as the federal government seems to have stopped the 35,000 naira wage award to workers. Now, talking to workers in several ministries, departments and agencies, many federal government workers said that they only received for the month of September. And they've not received anything again since then. Christmas is looking bleak. They don't know what to do. They've affirmed that their take-home salaries are not enough for them as it is right now. And the NLC, the head of information at the NLC, Benson Upa, says that this action, or not adhering to what they have said they will do, betrays what he called the government's dishonorable intentions, saying that it is completely unacceptable. I would like to know what is your take on this. What would you expect the NLC to do in such a situation? Is this the time for them to go on that strike that they've been talking about?
You know what? I can sense that everywhere is tense related to this issue. So let me be like you, an average journalist that will break the ice. Recently, not too long ago, someone asked the current Minister of Labour, Lalong, now that you've won your case in court as senator, would you want to remain as Minister of Labour or you go to the House of Senate? He didn't even think twice. He said he's going to become a senator. He tells you of the heat that he feels as a Minister of Labour. That is one role that right now, nobody wants to be very careless, unlike the last minister we had in GJ, who was second in many ways. Labour right now is coming back to that. I have said it again and again. And that is why we Nigerians should collaborate with them in many ways to ensure that sanity is restored in so many places. You said that they are claiming that Christmas looks bleak. We spoke on phone earlier how that I can imagine a few days to Christmas and things are still looking as though nothing will happen. So I am for Labour in this. Yes, the federal government should always be made to fulfill whatever they promise. You didn't give the impression that they're going to pay just 1 month. So why is the funding turn around? And when you consider the optics on them, you can take as many people to Dubai. You can take many delegates that are wanted to United Nations General Assembly and all of this. Yet, to fulfill that which you have said, you find that a bit hard to do. And before long, you start waiving the issue of no work, no pay. They should let their policies have human faces. Nigeria has not been very, very palatable in the past 5-6 months. No thanks to the subsidy. Yes, it was inevitable that it would be removed. That was what the three major candidates said. But how they went about it and the palliative they put in as a stopgap in many states are not working very well. So if Labour were back on this, we will join them. The only thing I would just beg anybody is carry all Nigerians along. Don't appear to be for this person or that person. Take all of us and we are ready. Nobody is happy right now with many things in the country. So we're only looking for the voice that will lead us and will follow. To let government know that we are registering our protest. There are some things that are some policies they embark upon and not favorable at all. They are not friendly at all. So they have to reverse themselves. After all, we put them there. At any level of government, sphere of government, we put them there. They were voted in. They didn't get it by divine heritage or because they are personal ancestors, had rights to support power. No, we put them there. So anyone, anybody, any agency, platform that will stand us with Nigerians and will cooperate with them. So let federal government as improve that whatever they say, they will back it up with action, not just make everything from its announced threatening. You give them the impression that it's not going to be just 1 month. You play 1 month and you're now saying you are backtracking. Let Labour do that which is similarly right in the side of Nigerians, and we're surely going to support them.
So what is that thing that will be right in the eyes of Nigerians that you think Labour should do right now with these circumstances? Because we know that the NLC has complained that it is only when there is the threat of a strike that the federal government seems to be proactive regarding their matters. But it would seem that even the NLC, the federal government, everyone is lax at this point. It is the festive season. Yuletide is here. The Christmas day itself is just around the corner. People really want to be able to stock up their houses, but due to the prices of food items, many people will be unable to. So if you have federal workers who are looking forward to these wage awards that have been promised them to be able to do the things that they need to do this Christmas, how will they survive?
Anyway, it's in the nature of the federal government to be, as I put it, goatishly stubborn. They don't understand the language but force. Yes, I think that's the language, and it's this how this government. It's your government, unless they see the hard way, they won't budge. I know of a friend who over the years will make it a tradition to give at least rice to at least 20 people. Now he can't give to more than 2. He said it categorically. If I was going to give anybody rice this year, just 2 people from 20 to 2. A bag of rice is almost 60,000. Who does that? Even your take-home pay cannot buy you half a bag of rice, let alone a full bag of rice. Now as I said, we are about a protest. We are due a protest, a very strong, vociferous one that the government will hear. I'm never for violence, never. Democracy accommodates protest. And let the government know that when we protest this time around, it is because they're fighting the news on our necks. Let the poor breathe, President. We said it. Let us breathe indeed. So if they won't hear just Labour alone, let Labour rally Nigerians, all Nigerians of whichever gender, coloration, party, whatever, bring all together. And if this Christmas will be noted for Nigerians protesting with their voice loudest, telling government that you've got to backtrack on certain things. Let us breathe indeed. I say that for it honestly. As I said, the protest should be peaceful. We are in a republic. We are not in a banana republic. We're in the jungle. We'll rally around Labour. We'll come together and let the government know that it is pinching us. You can't be preaching one thing and doing another thing. Because the optics on them in recent has not been good at all. Look at all the recklessness they've exhibited. If I still consider Dubai, you came out to it was only 402. Even at that, 402 delegates, way too much. What are you doing there with 402 delegates? I did a primary election, I want to go and be a contest. So it does not make any sense. And when you keep giving the wrong impression, the wrong body language, nobody trusts you. And it takes just a while for a government who enjoys any goodwill to lose it. So if this government, even the supporters of this government, the fans of this party, some of them are grumbling, bellyaching right now because they're not happy with what's going on. So let Labour cash in on all this. I know they listen. Let us cash in on all this. Let us rally asking, use all platforms, legal platforms, to come together and speak with one voice. This time around, it's not because my brother is there. It's not because my brother wants. Listen, this pain is biting to everyone. Nobody can pretend. I can't imagine where I live. About 6 cars or 7 cars in my compound. The past 3-4 months, about 5 of them have been static, just gathering dust. In fact, one of my neighbors, that one he now uses a bicycle to go to work. Bicycle. It tells you it's a metaphor of what we are going through in Nigeria. So in this case, no one should pretend that because I am of this party, it is biting everybody. It's not an APC exclusive pain or PDP trauma or Labour trouble. No, it cuts across. So let Labour catching on this, organized Nigerians, and surely, I keep saying, Labour many times saved Nigeria. That's why not so long ago when Franco Kori died, it was eulogied. These were men that they knew how to bring Nigerians together, and we fought on a common front, and we got our victory. We made government reverse themselves sometimes. We made them back down sometimes. And if we can continue that line with this new Labour, I think I'm for them, really.
All right. As it is now, the federal government has budgeted about 1 trillion naira for minimum wage adjustment, promotion arrears, and severance benefits for civil servants. This is according to an analysis of the 2024 appropriation budget, which was released by the Budget Office of the Federation. Right? Are we expecting a better relationship between the federal government and Labour in 2024 based on this budget?
There can never be a smooth, now hear me carefully, a smooth relation between Labour and government. And then a workable relationship. And that will depend on each party playing their role very well. The Labour Union, the Labour group is always a pressure group. They will always, in a way, work with, they are not partners, they are not the partners. That's why I will beg Nigeria and co. Please distance yourself from anything that makes you look partisan. But Labour, as I said, a pressure group that can always work with now opposition parties. Because most times the government is like on the one hand, the government on it makes the democracy so interesting and beautiful. Now nobody has the monopoly of power. If those that are in government fail to realize that they were put in there, we will bring them out. My Igbo friends will always say, when the wood that was made that in camp to become a god, forget where it's coming from. We remind him of the firewood we used to make that same god. So when our officials can't realize that, or they've forgotten that we actually voted them there, some of us defy the elements. We'll pass through the rains, through harsh sunshine, just to put them there. And they now think they are bigger than we are, then we'll remind them. So let Labour, as they are doing, in collaboration with all other parties in the House, at every level, state, federal, even local, come together with us. Look, I know one thing for sure. If we can properly organize ourselves down, there is no way any rally we conduct, all parts of Nigeria, will not get to them. There is no way. It's biting, and that is even understating it. Things are not year in, year out. We think, oh, it was even better last year. For this particular year, cash crunch, the elections, and now the subsidy in 1 year, it makes anything Christmas look so bleak, so bleak. I've listened to, of course, I listen to VOP a lot, and almost my favorite, and almost permanently stayed on it. It's a case of, I really want to organize Christmas party for your fans and everyone. I can imagine what you have to go through because you want to organize something quality for your fans. That's by the way. So let the federal government and Labour, they will not be friends. In fact, it must not be said that Labour officials or Labour leaders are caught in bed with no, they are never going to be like that.
Okay.
The last time we have, listen.
Yeah, I wanted to actually move away from the topic so we can talk about something else. But you can go ahead and round up on the topic.
All right. We don't want a case. Okay, say it.
Yeah, I want to look at the Rivers State Assembly crisis, right? The leader of the Pan Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, which is Chief Edwin Clark, has made a demand to President Bola Tinubu to call Wike to order, saying that he cannot be trying to retain a structure in his state while he's serving, in the federal cabinet, while he's one of, the ministers, but he cannot keep trying to have his one leg in, one leg out, one leg in River State, one leg in as Minister of the FCT, and he really needs to be called to order. Now, Chief Edwin Clark is saying if all governors, as a matter of right, insist on allowing their favored candidates to be successors, if they insist on controlling them, if they insist on controlling the state assemblies and on controlling the structure which they left behind, what manner of confusion will we have in Nigeria? This Wike Fubara situation, which Chief Edwin Clark is saying led to the defection of 27 members of the State House of Assembly from PDP to the APC yesterday. How do you weigh in? How do you see this whole situation? Is Wike doing too much, or is Fubara not loyal?
Let me put it this way. I hope the retreat they had about, was it 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago now? I'm talking of the president and his minister. They had the retreat. How that he came out there was a communication issue that any minister that does not perform to certain benchmarks will be shown the way out. I hope President Tinubu will be a man of not just words, but with appropriate action. In this case, you can't afford to be divided in your passion, your focus. Focus is better now. If Wike wants to still rule or dominate Rivers, let him go and stay there. Otherwise, let him face being federal minister federal capital territory minister, because these are roles that demand. Ijeoma, I know you are an expert and you are really an urbane lady. As in, if I use the word like myself with a touche, probably you've been to Abuja on occasions. I'm sure the Abuja you visited was not the Abuja that I know some 10, 15 years ago. Abuja is largely a shadow of itself. Abuja can boast of many uncompleted buildings, unlike many other cities in Nigeria. And you know what uncompleted buildings do? They always are as in crime spots, hot spots for crime. People as in all manner of people, let me just use that word now, it's sounding, derogatory. They harbor themselves in an uncompleted building where they smoke hemp, rape, carry out all manner of ill inciting. So if Wike does not see the enormity of the job of being FCT minister, then I don't think he knows the role he's playing.
So the enormity of being FCT minister is much more than being, let's say, a godfather in River State.
Far more. I saw Abuja under El-Rufai, and afterwards, I've seen Abuja years after El-Rufai. Abuja is a story case. After then, Abuja was vying to be one of the best capitals in the world, not even in Africa alone, in the world. But now, Abuja is a far cry. So he has enough on his plate as FCT minister. And if he wants to embark on the journey of failure, because if he wants to put his nose too much in that of river politics, he can't possibly function very well. And I will say that if his Oga, in this case, Tinubu, should just possibly show his else if he does not perform. Because if there is a ministry that needs the utmost attention, it's Abuja. When recently they came out protesting against him, I told them, I think they're totally, for now, let us see him work or not work, then we have every case. I don't buy into what Gumi said, he's a Southerner, he's a Christian, that means Bangladesh, and he's a Nigerian. So it's not an excuse for Northerners to be Abuja ministers. But since Nigerian, if he now fails to perform, which I think is embarking on that path, because most likely if doing this in River State, then he will show up to perform. Then I expect his employer, in this case, the president, to show the way out. Abuja is too delicate. Today, the pressure on is Lagos, to an extent, Enugu. If Nigeria is well as in exposed in the sense of many cities in Nigeria are doing well, we won't put too much pressure on certain cities. And Abuja should be the melting point, has become a shadow of itself. So we has a lot to do. If he doesn't know, then I'm saying this because I know they hear us. Let him face Abuja squarely. He has enough on his plate. Otherwise, he will make a mess of that ministry. And I expect that he will to play one role in one leg in River State, as Edwin said, and one leg in Abuja. It does not work at all.
So you're also of the opinion that he needs to be called to order immediately?
Of course. See, for me, in this River case, I'm still studying something because I'm ongoing development. I'm not going to participate on the godson with Subara or the godfather. But if I'm forced to just point at accusing fingers, I'll still say maybe it's Wike. Wike is too tempestuous. Patience is a name in the game. Even if, as some people will say, if a child does something that is childish, you want to let that child know that, don't do this. But going all the way because you want to kill just a fly and you get a sledgehammer, I think it's way too early. He didn't become wicked by fiat or by divine waving of hands. No. Some people brought him up. He was a godson to an extent to Odili, and in a way they were all brought up by Odili himself, and Mechi, Tonye, and all these Rivers big boys. So if he enjoyed some patience from his own godfather, why is it that he's too hasty? I think he's a bit too hasty in this sense. There are ways you can call, because Rivers State now, and you know what? When these two father and sons are fighting, it is the people that will suffer. The budget was, they had the kind of evangelism yesterday. The executive and governor, the commissioners, they are about to send the budget to the House for passage. Now that will be stalled. And those who will suffer are the civil servants in Rivers. They will not get their salary paid on time. Everything will be stalled because two men are trying to show who has more power. I hope it's about time we realize that democracy is not about freedom. It's not about one man carrying everything. So we should just step back. You are not going to be on top forever, as they will say in football and in life. No champion forever. So let him just temper a bit. After whatever you're going to do, make it subtle. You are showing too much of your hands. And as I said, it's about time his employer, President Tinubu, now calls into order. Otherwise, the optic that is already being damaged on this government will get even more damaged. And the point I felt that when Tinubu was eventually said, even some party members of other parties, some members of other parties, someone were saying, okay, Ascar is our president, so let us work with him. But now with this that is going around, I think every time you just come up with 1.5 billion naira for the first service office that does not exist, buying a yacht, you want to rope the navy around it. When we know that yacht is for pleasure, I keep saying anything you want to buy for navy, is there a warship or gunboat or submarine? As if they keep going in this mess, then it will further plunge their ratings among Nigerians. Even though the fans are not happy with what's going on right now. So he can't afford to let Wike further damage the office on them. Otherwise, it will go down more and more. And when you lose your goodwill, it's a matter of time. It becomes lame dog. Nobody listens to him anymore. So let him watch out and put Wike into caution.
All right, Dr. Adebayo, at this point, I'll have to let you go so we can continue with the news bulletin. Thank you so much for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. I really appreciate your presence, your input, and your analysis.
Always a pleasure, Ijeoma. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so dearly. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Edwin, has said that the administration of President Bola Tinubu will always account for revenue from oil. Edwin said this when he appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation to defend the 2024 appropriation bill. He said the issue of accounting for oil revenue is germane, and clearly whatever they have met as a way of monitoring oil revenue and payment into the Federation account will be done. The minister said he agreed with many who had pointed out the fact that the federal government must have a system of paying into government coffers with exchange rates. In a tragic development, 10 persons, all male adults, have lost their lives in an early morning auto crash that occurred around the Kara turning inward on the Lagos-Ibadan expressway today. The incident reportedly involved two vehicles, a Toyota Hiace bus and an Iveco truck tipper. According to the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC Public Education Officer Florence Okwe, the accident was a result of excessive speed on the part of the driver of the Hiace bus, who rammed into the truck while negotiating the turn. 7 persons have been injured while 1 person escaped unhurt. On the foreign scene, federal prosecutors have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to rule quickly on whether former President Donald Trump has immunity from prosecution, so his trial on charges of conspiring to overturn the 2020 election can go ahead as scheduled. The Supreme Court said it will expedite consideration of Smith's petition that it take up the case and have asked Trump's attorneys to state by December 20 their position on the special counsel's request. The former Republican president's historic trial is scheduled to begin in Washington on March 4, 2024. And that's it on the World News at 12. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that Labour is fuming as the federal government stops 35,000 naira wage award payment. Edwin Clark writes Tinubu to call Wike to order over Rivers crisis. PDP moves to replace 27 pro-Wike assembly defectors. And Finance Minister promises to always account for oil revenue. On the foreign scene, Supreme Court asks to decide if Trump has immunity from prosecution. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.